Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745, fully zoomed in here on Hearts of Iron 3 Black Ice 10.41. As I was just saying to the non-existent live viewers, just started here. I think I'm going to just start calling this, 0.41 whatnot, because too many numbers to say too often. Right, we're going to continue with morning AMSR wave 4. We have a lot of new divisions here that are starting to get some strength now that we've changed some things. So what we're going to do is assign them commanders. I really do sort of like some of the features of some of the more modern games to be able to like drag and drop some of this into the move it a bit more into the center. But okay, so we're going to go sort by skill. To me, a standard German general, which has the skill level of 3. And now we want to have, for some decent infantry divisions, we want, in my opinion, either a offensive doctrine or defensive doctrine. Now, if we can have both, that's fine, but those will be rare. So they will do either well on attacking or defending. Without the old card is, we can see there are some benefits here. I can see. Dig in bonus defense, actually pretty good, but offense, attack speed, and experience gain are pretty damn negative. Now, Dolman here is a core commander, but Fortress Buster, offensive, attack. But so we're going to leave him at that, and we'll give Von Speck to this division, and we're well. That's the 31st. Let's just go here to the 32nd. Give F. Carl. Or, yeah, it's Carl F, but I think it's supposed to be F. Carl. So here we have Sorche. And he has a war merit cross, so experience gain, experience bonus, supply consumption, out of supply bonus just is negative. So if he's out of supply, his units will get more negative. Their attack speed, surprise chance, so pretty good on the whole. Color divisions, I think, will be upgraded at some point by events. Lib. The 27th Division. Von Schweder. And the 28th Division. We're going to save things like Battle Expert, which used to be, Panzer Commander, or whatever I have it. We've renamed it back to it. For Armored Forces, Combined Arms +2. And we're going to leave units like Looters with Commando, which have the only a negative. That looks like a why would a commando have an out of supply bonus or negative when Is this a bug? Well, not sure what out of supply. Yeah, it's it's -3. It should be a positive because here, Felingar has no special no special out of supply bonuses or negatives. But here, Looters is supposed to be a commando, which um, specifically had been set up as a paratrooper type thing. You drop them behind enemy lines, they're out of supply, and they get to you know fight longer, better. Or like here, Von Schrader as a naval officer, which that's what that uniform is, to be sort of like Marines. And you go ashore into a place without a port, and you want to fight a little longer without effective supply, kind of thing. Trained to do so. So that is to me weird. That commandos have negative abilities when fighting out of supply. Logistic wizards, supply consumption, and these are really good to be. I don't know how to supply bonus -2. I don't know why that would also be. Because you're finding supplies and you're getting supplies, scrounging up stuff that's. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know all of what they're thinking there. Woof. I don't know if I should keep demonstrate it. Von Oberstfeder. Elder. My inability to pronounce German names. I see there's a few of you out there on YouTube and such. Please say hi if you like, so I sort of know who's watching. See if their faces or at least names. Closer. 25th, let's go to the 26th. Now, part of what I'm doing here is I'm not used to Ritter von Robert, maybe he's new. Is it just used to do this a bunch and then keep going would crash my game. And so what loading in these generals all this time. So this is a ongoing stability test. If I can do this and not try to be stupid nagel, not trying to be abusive or anything. Okay, well we can't actually give. Yeah, we can't do a single brigade. Can't give a leader there. Though to a motorized HQ we could. Right now. We have a bunch of divisions here. And we're going to need some divisions coming up here. Okay, he has 4. Got a bunch of poles that we're facing there. So let's... Let's send a corps of... Well, let's find there's the 33rd. We'll send those 3 divisions out there. Still not sure what I'm doing with this. A semi-motorized division. Now we have this corps down here of 3 divisions with excuse me, some battle commander and other support. we can turn this into a 4-core division, or 4-division core. Boy, it is early for me at the moment. We'll put 2 of these new divisions on the Czech border. And no, I'm not going historical Klaus if you're watching. I'm sorry, I don't play that. Not that it isn't cool playing that way, but I just don't pay that close attention to everything. Okay, so let's reinforce each of these cores with another division. I really like to build up my armies for long-term use. Okay, so that obviously, well, hello, Robert. How you doing? I don't plan on fighting the war with Czechoslovakia, partially for testing it out. I don't think in Standard Black Ice you can't go to war with over Czechoslovakia. Okay, but getting these ready now, we'll have a few cores that will shift over for Poland and other things. Will be crushing Poland. Now we will need a defensive wall along here once the war starts, and of course an offensive. We don't need 2 there. Let's detach and attach. Can move you up to Aachen. We will be needing to invade there. So, he has two divisions. We'll make this 3. I think he has but 1. So I don't need to keep coming over here. Just click here. And I don't think the command HQ is strong enough. That isn't strong enough ultimately to hold on its own either. If I keep coming over here, I can just click here. And it does come over there. Yes, come down to here. Hello, Arno. Greetings. Yes. So we have all of these divisions will be moving out, which will be assigned and will be assigned to their course. Now we recently, I think, these are Marine Commander. Okay. Okay, it's what we're looking at here. Oh yes, Fleet Command and Fleet Corps Command. I don't know what I'm going to do with this sort of spray HQ, but we're not leaving it there. We'll move it up to Seton. Now, how are we going to do this? Okay. Luftkreis Keto 1. Now this is going to get reorganized over time. But we're going to find and come down to low skill because there'll be Luftwaffe officers. Most are not. It really doesn't matter which one you use here, but are not trained well. Okay, we're gonna use Lorzer here. Let's downgrade you in command because we're going to put you there. Now, what I'm going to do here is, well, we're going to rename this. Fighter Flieger Corps. Because I am a human, again, and I really do, and I've sort of liked a lot of, if you're out there, you please keep posting. Klaus, the idea of, and I guess it would be a cool goal to have, so I do admire it, but the idea, I'm not going to set up the Flieger Corps and the Luft Corps and whatnot in any sort of historical basis. What I'm going to do is, I guess it's, maybe we have some up here now. Is set them, because I'm a single human trying to command the whole thing. We're going to have eventually a fighter command, a bomber command, a seaplane command, and then maybe like an Africa command that would have, multiple types of aircraft in it, just because it's sort of off on their own. That way I can come to fighter and find all the fighters in, this sort of map area, which would include the Eastern Front, the Western Front, sort of based to some degree on the British model, bomber command, coastal command, fighter command, whatnot. One would be transports. So I can quickly find all the units here listed down and reassign them so I don't lose units. And hello, Eric, how you doing? So, and if we ever, this series won't go that far, I hope. If we're ever pushing into India, I might set up an India command or whatnot, but generally a mission-based command system for me. And since I'm playing a computer game and not having to actually deal with all of the supply, issues and personnel issues and all this different stuff that I don't have, that would make administratively doing this a horrid mess. Hello, Alp. How you doing today? Right. Okay. So doing a bit of organizing up here. Now let's look here at our decisions. Let's look here at our modifiers. Okay, we're going to wait till some of these spawn penalties go away before we order more things. Right. Yeah, Arno, I really like this. This is my favorite map. This seems to be viewers' favorite map. And then if you're looking at here, I know you don't play Hearts of Iron 3, you're more of a Hearts of Iron, different, 4 and whatnot. But yes, I'm focusing in on the Netherlands for you. This is a much better tactical map because they've gone and done things like maybe like these 3 provinces into one, and these, so it's just big armies moving around, and you no longer have tactical finesse between the various rivers and whatnot. Now, I totally get and actually do appreciate and like the idea that in Hearts of Iron 4 map, that instead of having, okay, where is this river here? When you're in this province and attacking to this province, does this river affect you? If you're attacking from, what provinces attack vectors does this river affect you? So they've sort of well, either adjusted the province, drawing of the map, or maybe make the river a little unhistorical to show that, okay, well, it goes along this edge of this province. And then, because this map here, and I don't know, but very well may have no river effect if you're starting here and moving here, but may have a river effect if you're from here coming here, or maybe just from here to here. It's not universal river effect. And so it's confusing a little bit to know where the river effect is here. So having it a little less correct visually, but having it more correct for determining, where you get them in. So, if you're here, if you're coming from here to here, maybe no river effect, but if you're coming from here to up to here, there's river, or from here down to here, there's, that is a really, really good idea for a Hearts of Iron 4 map, but this is better. Hello, Van Bishop. And so, the hex-based map that I grew up using for Third Reich is good for a limited game like this, but this is really pushing technology. This still, to me, is the best grand strategy game of World War II. Hearts of Iron 4 has lots of improvement, but it has lots of negative aspects too. For about every improvement it does, and it does a lot of improvements, that's why I'm still playing it too, it has about equal number of negative effects over this. And so, Toy Jet's here as well, very good. And so, it just, the flexibility, and sure, there's problems with this game. Of course, there's problems with the game, especially things like the AI here, dumping all of these forces. Well, it's feeling the threat from Germany, right? So it's sticking all of its forces there, and nothing's going to come through Maastricht and in through this way. Nothing's going to, and these are just, all these stacks are just a bunch of HQs that have no real combat effect, with just like one combat unit that probably shouldn't even hardly be there. But they may have buffed that up, probably did a bit to just make it more of a speed bump. But, coming through this hilly area here, that actually is maybe considered woods. And if you want to see the ugly but effective map here, forest, hills, plains, urban, whatever. So, it doesn't know to defend places here that this speed bump will get overrun on a minimum. On a better thing is it doesn't know to, like, let's forget about this province. Let's put our forces here in Liège, Namur, and back here behind this river, defendable line here, and hold something that is, hold something that's defendable, instead of just sticking a big pile of units here. The two big things that let me down for this game still are I consider broken AI and broken supply system. If those two things were fixed, and of course you can just have enough human players, that would fix the AI situation, this would be a great game. I mean, a truly great game. Hello, Dario. How are you doing today? The Dutch lands, yes. So yeah, I still love this the best. Let's get the clock rolling some here. And Guido, how you doing today? Okay. Now we've got, let's see, this division here. We'll move you to there. Oh, that's right. That's right. I literally did forget that I was playing Hearts of Iron 3 for a moment, and played as if I was playing Hearts of Iron 4. I'm just getting them through the port, and I was going to send them there. See, like I said, there's really good things of Hearts of Iron 4 too. Wow, bomb attack. Well, I don't know if you just saw what I saw some videos just before coming here, starting this thing of a Catholic church in England having the police come in and telling the worshippers they have to go home. It's an unlawful assembly on Good Friday. So now I don't, we all know that Catholics do not have um, freedom in Britain. Okay, the whole government is based on a Protestant Catholic exclusion government. I don't know if people still realize this about Britain. And so, yeah, Catholics are still a repressed minority. I know Muslims aren't because they're not going after daily prayers in Muslim mosques. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong by going and praying in Muslim mosques, but they don't seem to break those up, but they break up churches. And now the Church of England, of course, does what the government says it should do because it is the state religion and the state church. But the Catholics who are not are repressed in Britain still. And so they were breaking up a Good Friday thing because of coronavirus. Well, you know, in America, we have religious freedom, but of course, you can't do that either. So, yeah, I'm not justifying or saying it's good to do real or fake bomb attack, because most bomb situations are just people calling in bomb reports without actually a bomb there. All the ones I've been involved with personally, having to clear buildings out, search for the bombs, literally, have been, just people calling in the police and saying they planted a bomb. I was one of the people having to go through and look to see if we can find a bomb. I wasn't part of the police department, but as part of the security at the facility that was a bomb threat against. So, yeah, that's been my experience of no actual bombs, but yeah, whether it's just a false or a real one, that isn't justified, but neither is the shutting down of churches. I think there's a preview that's worth revisiting. I heard that there is a version. Okay, the 33 start never got off the ground. Yes, there probably is a version, and I did talk a little bit. The biggest problem with it is the AI. I think the biggest problem is the AI doesn't like long periods of peace. It starts to go to sleep after a while. That's part of the problem. And two, the civil war mechanism, because it was set up to have a civil war within Germany between the SA and the communist and the sort of statist army types. And depending on who got control of how many province victory points or whatever would sort of determine the election and who was going to rule. So no, don't even look for the 33 start. No, right now I know my friend Count Blue is still back on 911 version, and there's good reason not to go to 10.33. The biggest one is stability. I think I will be correcting all of the major game design features with TRE that keeps people like him moving forward with this new, very stable version. So this is the best version, and we will be putting some things back in. So yeah, yes, some guy said that a firework boom at the entrance. Yes, yeah, I know you. I don't know any of the details other than what you said about that. I don't know if that was what people react badly at times. I don't know. I'm rather mad at journalists too, though. I'm not suggesting they should be beaten up either. Everyone is pissed in my village, is pissed at the church. The pastor was also saying things about gay people in Corona, which I will not. Yeah. Yeah, well, how do I put this with religious people? And I'm not, there are different viewpoints based on religion, and true believer, well, religion and modern so I'm trying to say this both correctly and diplomatically. Wow, how far back do I go? That's another thing, people. I always wonder because I start making a statement and then I go, and I'm thinking in my head, no, I should give correct context for it. Because to me, everything is context is key. Christianity has serious major problems with Western cultures, okay? Christianity has serious major problems with Western cultures. Christianity has almost, at times, been able to come in and destroy Western culture. It has not been able to achieve the destruction of Western culture, but damn, it is very well near been able to do so. Because if, you know, and there may be some Christians here, and I don't mean just Christians that are sort of like, yeah, I go to church, you know, every Sunday, or I go to church for, you know, major religious things. I mean true believers in Christianity. And yes, if you're a true believer in Christianity, you think gay people, well, you think homosexuality is a sin. And so, yeah, but I'm, you know, Christianity is an Eastern religion. It is not a Western religion. I'm also trying to keep this not family friendly, but advertiser friendly. Homosexuality has long been a major mainstream popular element in Western culture. And it is only the coming of Christianity that worked to suppress homosexuality. I know a lot of people like the movie 300, the Spartans fighting at the, gates of Thermopylae down here. You do know that all those 300 men were all gay, right? All Spartan men were gay. All Spartan men were gay. Now, I think by the time you get to be about 35, you were expected to have a wife to produce kids. But men who really loved women were sort of weird in Spartan culture. You mean you actually want to live at home with your wife and not in the barracks with the dudes? Well, I guess you can, but man, you're weird to want to live with the woman. I mean, that's Spartan culture if you don't realize that about Spartan. They were all gay. And they were brought up that as children without their consent, if you will. Children is at least in the identification of 18 or under 18 years of age. And we're not, and I don't want you to go places in the chat because I'm being very careful of what I'm saying here. And that's Spartan culture. Now, it wasn't anything like that in Athenian culture, just, Sparta down here, Athens up here. Wasn't anything like that, but having homosexual activities was not frowned upon at all within Athens, but at least for and the middle class was very small back then, but for the middle class and upper classes, you were still expected to have a wife and produce children, whatever your personal fun time sexualities may be or emotional relationships you may have. You were expected to have also produce children in a stable family environment. And we could, and I'm not going to go in and talking more about Roman culture similarly. I don't think we have enough information for the Celtic culture, but I don't know. So and I'm looking at this purely right now as not my beliefs or my thinking of good. or bad. Quite honestly, if you think I am, I'm not. By what I'm saying, I'm talking purely from a cultural, sociological, historical viewpoint here. And so Western culture is a pagan culture, and we can see Easter coming up tomorrow for most of us. I know it's sort of already hitting for people out in like Australia and whatnot, but of Easter Sunday, you do have the whole Easter bunny and the hiding of the eggs and whatever. Those are paganistic elements of spring fertility elements that have been brought into the Easter Christ is risen / Passover religions that come from Judaism into it, and it's sort of become a bit of a mix. But Christianity has tried to stamp out much, if not most, of Western culture, and not just on a sexual basis here, but other cultural elements. And so there's been something of a fusion. So, and I know recently there are woke pope that everybody on the woke side has all been praising so much, and are, and I'm not a Catholic, if you think, because of the language when I say are, no, I'm not at all. At all, I'm not a Catholic. Our former retired pope, who was, people said, was a Nazi. I don't believe so at all, but much more of a traditionalist that they all hated, now has upset the woke crowd because the Pope has confirmed in the church that homosexuality is a sin, or some such language to that. I'm not exactly sure. And so they thought they were winning within the church and were going to get homosexual marriages accepted within the church, the Catholic Church, which, you know, so there are those out there that of a strong religious conviction do, or apparently do, dislike homosexuals. Now, there's a lot of nuance in there. There are definitely a lot of Christians who don't hate the sinner but hate the sin. There are some out there that hate those that push the agenda because they think they're corrupting people. Not, and so, you know, it's not that they hate you for your viewpoint, they hate you because you're actively spreading it. You know, it's like they would, and I don't want to overstate this, they would normalizing, I don't know, theft or something like that, some other sort of sin that's bad, but not maybe the worst. I don't know. And I don't, if you can tell from my language, I'm not pushing one side or the other of the agenda here or now or in my own viewpoint, but I do understand, and I think, and I'll get to some of the comments I've been seeing up there, I haven't read in detail yet. I think, and so, yeah, you can, if you don't like historical conversations, you can leave and unsubscribe from my channel, but please do note, I have not expressed in anything I've said so far a personal opinion of the correctness or incorrectness of anyone's beliefs on either side of the issue, just talking about the historical and cultural and sociological impacts of these things. I think for all the wokeness of groups of people and even just general society, they need to understand and be tolerant of people who reject things, and through from their pulpits and church and places continue to preach and spread what's in their books, if you will. You know, Yes, you got to a live stream, John. Um, and so now, there is definitely, I am not I'm not a book expert on anything, but not on the Bible either. I am terrible at remembering and quoting any sort of book or passages. I'm just terrible. I admire people who can pull quotes out of the air from things they've read. Um, I wish I had that ability. I can normally remember the intent or the meaning, but actually pull quotes out of it. So, um, I'm not going to try to quote the Bible or anything like that here, but there's definitely going back to Moses and Exodus at least, the idea that plagues that are visited upon human communities are done because sins of those communities, let our people go kind of things. And since Pharaoh and the whole culture wasn't, they were being punished with these plagues, that you may be able to interpret any sort of modern day plague or catastrophe as being because of sins of humans and what they're doing. Now, now here's my personal viewpoint, and I don't have any I'm not having any views on biblical events, but modern day events. No, I do not believe particular sins are out there because of certain behaviors. A volcano doesn't erupt because the people living on the island or living, outside of Pompeii, the Vesuvius is going up because those people were living sinful lives. I don't think the world works, the universe, whatever, whether you believe in God or not, or have that viewpoint. I don't really believe the thing works that way. Now, yes, certain people's behavior, if you cough in other people's faces, whether you have coronavirus or just a cold, you can spread things. So yes, your personal behaviors, and you can maybe, again, please, and I do thank everyone for not going into bad places on the chat. Other sort of personal interaction behaviors can spread certain diseases, yes. But no, I don't personally think it's because of it. But more secular people need to understand that a true believer very well may believe that, but also whether they believe that or not, some will and some won't, they will still believe certain activities as a sin. And just because when communities gather at churches, say on Easter, that normally don't attend all the time, they may not be preaching about controversial modern practices of one sort or another. And so you may not realize that the pastor or whoever has traditional viewpoints, because I do know the Calvinist church in South Africa of the Boers, which are, of course, a Dutch descended people, are very fundamentalist of the Calvinistic religion of the Netherlands, that I find, at least in my brief visits, to be rather lapse for most Dutch people of a modern day belief. And so, yeah, people may be shocked if they found out what the people actually who either run a particular Calvinist church or group or whatever actually do believe what's written in the books, or what Calvin and others, John Knox in the sort of Scottish sense, actually believed and said and did and wished to do that. And that may very well may be a shock to people. But and I'll tell you this, I have to separate out a particular other Abrahamic follow-on religion. Again, I'm being very careful in my language, for its modern use of violence to perpetuate its viewpoints in the modern world. Now, again, we can see the use of that stuff in in Christianity and, the Crusades and whatnot in long past, but in modern day sense, we don't see that there. So long as you're not seeing those kinds of things, I am very tolerant of fundamentalist church believers, whether fundamentalist Catholic or fundamentalist Calvinist, and their practices and viewpoints. Now, I don't, as you can tell, I think I'm not a fundamentalist of one of these religious groups. I don't want their viewpoints in law or otherwise culturally, by protests or other things imposed upon me, but I will be very tolerant of their viewpoints and their wish to express them within the appropriate venues, such as within a church or mosque or whatever, so long as we're not really seeing violence. Now, I know Arno told me a little bit about some reporter being attacked at a church thing. Well, no, I'm not justifying it or excusing it or whatever, but I do have to wonder what a reporter was doing in a church thing if they're not a member of the church thing. Are they a religious reporter? It's sort of like reporters going to a gun show. They don't know what they're looking at. I mean, they see guns and things, but they don't actually know how it works because they never bought or owned a gun. Now, if you have a gun reporter from a gun magazine or a gun, YouTube channel or whatever, that would be a different sort of attitude, I would say. So I don't know, and I don't know what, and people's frustrations in this time, and again, I'm being very diplomatic on this stuff, for both sides. Because of the lockdowns, and I just saw some, attacks by Belgian police, including some on horseback, of people at a picnic in the not Netherlands, but in Belgium. There's a lot of frustration and rage at what's currently going on both sides of whatever issue, masks, no masks, whatever, and people do improper things, some under authorities and some just as individuals. And I'm not excusing it, just trying to explain and understand it and put it in context here. So, yeah, I see why communities are feeling attacked, and then when they see somebody that they see representing the establishment, a reporter, they may physically lash out at them. Again, I'm not excusing it or saying it's right, but to a point is, if you go unarmed into a war zone, you might get shot. I'm not saying you shouldn't be there, or you should be there, reporters in war zones or whatever, but bad things happen. So yeah, I hope everyone understands what I'm sort of saying. Let's see, religion or not. We live in a world where we're not free to talk, argue, debate, discuss. Someone somewhere might feel offended. Absolutely, Van Bishop. Now, I'm on YouTube, and I'm willing to play by YouTube's rules. Not that I agree with the rules, but I will say to a point, I do agree because I am a monetized YouTube channel. So, hello, Echo. That they have rules for advertiser-friendly and non-advertiser-friendly content. And I self-certify what my content. So if I wanted to come and use completely an hour of swearing of the most obscene words, basically it's fine for YouTube, except for a couple of, use the N-word or something like that. That wouldn't be fine because of certain cultural things here. But most of it would be fine, but that it would be demonetized, basically. And if I said that I was using all these bad words, they'd be quite happy and it would just be a demonetized video and go on about your day. And so I'm trying to play by these rules that I agree to play by, but we are having to be even more so censored. And so part of it is accepted by me because of the rules that I'm agreed to play under. But also, you are right that people will just get offended because either I'm apparently defending a religious bigotry or defending an anti-religious bigotry. Now, they wouldn't want to use those terms, but I think it's bigotry on either side. And, you know, we'll call him right now, just because I don't know if audio bots or whatever, James the Makeup Guy. You may have heard of him. I don't know much about him, but I do know that he is in a bit of a scandal right now for the age of some of the people he has sent certain types of chat messages to, and not just how to apply makeup to their faces. Yeah, so certain bigotry against certain types of people, yeah, I sort of kind of find and acceptable. Now, that doesn't mean that they should have physical violence against them or something like that, but just because, oh, well, somebody's that type of a person, well, I don't want anything to do with them. Okay, yeah, so bigotry is often used as an attack against somebody, but may also be an appropriate label that should be given and should be accepted because you don't approve of their behavior or some such. But so, yeah, so there are bigots of various types and stripes and whatnot. Let's see what we're, I do not believe in a so-called God. I think it's all fairy tale. Fine, Arno, you can believe what you want. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I think of any particular religious viewpoint that I do respect to. Do believe, just not those very strict ones, like the church which got bombed here. Yeah. Yeah. So I understand, and I think we'll leave the topic for now, just because when I start to open my mouth, but where I should start speaking and what I should say just gets more and more expansive on the topic, and potentially controversial for all sides of the issues. So we'll leave that there. And so we're going to continue here with Hearts of Iron 4. And it's not an inappropriate topic because when we get TRE set up, we will have I forget the German for it, but like with burning concern events and other things dealing with the Nazis and the church's reaction to the Nazis, which was not very favorable to the Nazis, even what post-World War II anti-Christians tended to want to believe that somehow the church supported the Nazis. That is the opposite of the truth. Okay. And so we will be talking more about it at times in the historical context of World War II. Okay. Battle Commander Recognition Guide. These guys pop up and we're just not. We Naval HQs, Air Force HQs. I guess we're letting those go. I don't know. We're going to look for that. Hey, Exurgent. We are live. Yes, we are. Okay, well, if you want to put some of that Arno in our Discord server, I can check it out later. What's the best way to get into Black Ice for both hearts? Because I really want to get into it so much. B Ice is Black Ice for Hearts of Iron 4 is easier to get into. If you, I don't know if you played Hearts of Iron 3. I like it better. The Black Ice for it better. If you're looking for a fast-paced game, Hearts of Iron 4 is better. If you're looking at a more detailed game, Hearts of Iron 3, I would say, is better. Tactical air support, and that I believe is here and grayed out, and we will do that one, and fighter pilot training advance. So over to ground control. I'm painting. Oh, American Civil War. Just tell me what you want to listen. Right. The American Civil War. Well, I think you're pretty soon going to need to specify the first American Civil War, because we are entering our second one now, I would say. Don't know if we can avoid it or not, but we are definitely in early stages of one. Okay, so we have this core here. We're going to add these two divisions to that. Now let's put these. We'll just do one at a time. Get them on. See, nope, they won't all fit. Okay, so we're going to transport those two divisions over there. Well, then it wouldn't be a civil war if it's global. There may be multiple cultural civil wars going on within countries. I know some of you know that years ago now I worked in Scotland for Scottish independence. And it sickens me to see some of the pro-independence, including like some of the Scottish papers, Scottish independence movement, blah blah blah, and they put up a freaking Saltaire flag, the blue field, white X on it, flag with the EU stars around it. That ain't Scottish independence, people. I know you're Scots, and you might not understand all the English words there, but independence means alone, basically. You're just looking to change from a union with England to a union. They literally have the word union, okay, European Union. You're going from Great Britain or, the United Kingdom to the European Union. You're going from one union to a different union. Now, I understand that while you thought Britain was going to be part of the EU, you didn't want to have the London government as an intermediary between whatever overlord government. But Scottish independence is not being part of a union, either with people on the continent or people on your same island. It is an independent state. And so, yeah, whether you want to say, and so it's been long enough that, yeah, it would be sort of a civil war, civil splitting between Scotland and England right now to whatever degree, and whatever degree that's maybe happening in Scotland and Brexit and Britain and all of that going on. But you may be using the term independence, but you're not wanting independence. You're wanting to be part of the European Union as opposed to the Union of Kingdoms on the Isle of Britain. Well, two kingdoms and a principality and whatever the hell Northern Ireland is today, because it's no longer, the Kingdom of Ireland, but whatever. Yeah, well, I am a Jacobite. Jacobites, well, maybe not all Jacobites, but I do respect the Union of Crowns, but I reject the 1707 Union of Parliaments. And you can tell just by what I just said, I actually sort of know what I'm talking about. And not just spouting off as some, I don't know, American who. Or even some modern Scot who may not know. When I was there, I would say less than half of the Scots knew the details of the Act of Union and what got all that going. So, yeah, I am still an unreconstructed Jacobite. Yeah. All my fault, yes. Well, obviously not. Wasn't very successful because they don't seem to be doing what I was promoting. You tried to play the mod with AI control. You mean just observing the game? I didn't work. Okay, yeah. Hello, E. Koki. I need a little bit more information than that statement. With AI army control. Okay. Didn't work. Let me read that a little more carefully. Okay. You're talking as having the army under control of the for a player's nation under that. Yeah, I don't know that works with. Well, maybe I've never considered it working a working feature in Hoi 3. I've never thought the AI does army control. No, it didn't. No, if you're saying doesn't work as in crash the game, that's a bad thing. But no, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't play that way. I wouldn't play that way. Okay, well, he can use one more division. Not that we really needed 3. Okay. Well, I have not used or attempted to use AI control of, my armies since I've been working on Third Reich events. I'm sure I tried it a few times way back when I started, but I just don't ever play that way. So, I don't really have any sort of comment on, see, it doesn't work. It didn't work. In vanilla, it's okay. It fails sometimes. In black ice, it doesn't work at all because of the terrain pattern. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's not meant to fight that way. It's not meant to happen that way. Um, no. Yeah, I get that you're a casual player, but black ice for Hearts of Iron 3 particularly is meant for a player who wants to manage the armies themselves. But there's a lot of changes, and the core AI doesn't necessarily able to, isn't necessarily able to handle it. And there's no way for the modders to get into that core AI. Okay, 1,000 kilogram bomb, however much that is on Friday versus Sunday. Very inexact. Measurement system. Okay, aerial mines. So, is it here? It's something I never hardly use. So it's not one of these. Theater map mode. Yeah, I do understand the idea of creating theaters within this game, assigning forces to that theater, and then having the AI fight that theater. Yeah, I've ignored it for too long that I don't even hardly understand its functionality other than that it exists. Boy, gotta try to get that out of my mouth. Okay, let's come over here. Just pump this up a bit. I want to reduce that number down. Okay. No, I'm still. Well, I'm not playing currently, as in obviously currently I'm playing Hearts of Iron 3 at this moment. But I do have an Italian campaign for World Ablaze. But I still have a lot of episodes to release that are just waiting to be released that I've made. And I will be back to Hearts of Iron 3 on Saturday mornings sometime. But right now I'm testing out 3 and I'm just doing it live because I'm interested in doing it and whatnot. So yeah, I will be playing more Hearts of Iron 4. Like I was saying earlier, and you probably may or may not have been here, for all of the wonderful improvements that Hearts of Iron 4 has over 3, there's about an equal number, in my opinion, of problems, of things not good about it. So it's, for all of it that it's better, there's also equal amount of not as good. So it's a mixed thing. I would really love to take both Hearts of Iron 3 and Hearts of Iron 4 and take at least what I think is best in both of those games and put them together into one, and it would be a beautiful game. A beautiful game. Don't get me wrong, I like it more than 4. I wish Paradox would have spent more time on this. Yeah, the story as I understand it, I think his screen name is TRP or something like that. Or no, that was his mod. TRP mod, that's right. Was working on what might have been a core element of another DLC, but they decided that they were nearly ready for Hearts of Iron 4, and I think it was the Bean Pushers in Paradox Interactive. Because if you don't understand, there's Paradox Development Studios, and those are the guys that make the game. And they may be in this literally same building, the same floor, but sort of 2 different corporate entities. And then there's Paradox Interactive, and they're the publishers, the people that, sell and market and pay, collect money for all this stuff, and then pay for the running of Paradox Development Studios. But I think it was the people at Paradox Interactive sort of pushed a bit. And the development studio thought it was ready, and they announced the game, and they've admitted this, more than a year too early. Hearts of Iron 4, and because they announced it, they stopped all work on whatever limited work there may have been. And I do know the one guy who was working for a final DLC. Had they done one more DLC that improved the AI and did something with the supply systems, I think we would have seen a much better game. But they're not going to go back to. They're not. There's just yeah, somebody like Elon Musk or somebody could throw enough money, I'm sure, at them to say, hey, yeah, spend some effort and improve this thing. But outside of that, there's no way they're coming back to it. So I have to see that this is unfortunately Black Ice can still do good things with this, it seems, team, but from Paradox viewpoint, and anything that the Black Ice people can't touch is a dead issue. It's not going to get any better. The supply situation is not going to get any better. It's not going to change. I know they've done some work on some of that. We'll see how it goes. Okay, Fuchsia, but I don't hold out much hope for anything materially improving. They might marginally get it better, but not. Oh, I guess I want to come here. But not substantially better. At least that's my expectations. Okay, well, yeah, we'll just leave it at this. We lose convoys in vanilla. I haven't played vanilla since I found Black Ice, Hearts of Iron 3. And this is one thing that people often bash Hearts of Iron 4 for. And I keep having going, yeah, but you're comparing Hearts of Iron 4 with Hearts of Iron 3's Black Ice. But if you compared, I would, right now, if you gave me the choice, not like permanently forever, but hey, which do you think is better and would you like to play? Hearts of Iron 4 unmodded or Hearts of Iron 3 unmodded? The last DLC. I'll pick 4. I'll tell you right now, I'll pick Hearts of Iron 4 over Hearts of Iron 3. Now, if it's Hearts of Iron 3 Black Ice, basically this game, preferably more with some changes in the sub-mods, but this versus Hearts of Iron 4 unmodded, I'm going to pick this. So it depends, you got to be careful, at least, on what I'm saying is better or agreeing. And so it's been too long since I played vanilla to be able to comment hardly on it. The Eon into no, don't think so. Though I do understand he is a Patreon of TIK and watches TIK's videos. Elon Musk is a bit of a World War II interest guy, I gather. So, yeah, he knows who TIK is and actually sent in a couple of questions through his Patreon system and is a Patreon of TIK. So, yeah, there might be a small glimmer of hope, but I don't think any reality. But yeah, no, I could design a. Let's look at our production. A game that would be a blend. We just got these factories. Of the two games that would be awesome. Okay, well, I think we're going to end this episode. Not the live stream. Everybody just hang loose. But we're going to end this episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos if you would. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. See you next time for, yes, even more Hearts of Iron.